Okay. Don't get too excitable, guys. Fuck. I know you're all very happy to see me, but... Whoa. Lornabox Tommy Robinson debate when? I don't even know. Who the fuck would you debate in the British politics arc? Did you get some good rest? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm resting well now. I'm feeling a bit more normal. Bro, I went to the gym today and then I weighed myself afterwards. I've lost like, I've lost like over 4 kilograms, like 10 pounds. So that's fucked up. Have you gone over all the manifestos? I've gone over one. Muscle mass. It's muscle mass and fat though, so, you know. Like I'm just slimmer in general. I don't feel much weaker though. Like everything I was doing, like benching everything felt fine. Like slightly more tiring because of less cardio, but so I guess that's like a science thing, I guess. Like muscle mass and strength are not completely correlated. Or not as closely as they might appear to be. Who knows? Whatever. I'm unfamiliar with your UK politics. Well, what I'm going to do after I've read the manifestos is I'm going to summarize each of them, probably for segments. And then we're going to see if we need to argue with anyone who's being stupid. Who knows? Who knows? Usually while traveling, you gain weight. Usually because you're eating out, because you're eating bigger meals, because flying for some reason like makes you gain weight or bloats you. But no. Our traveling was so much work that we didn't have time to eat 3 meals a day. So, and in the heat and a lot of walking around. Yeah. You mind dumbing down your commentary for us Yanks? Bro, British politics is so dumb. It's so simple. There are more parties, but honestly, our issues are not that complicated, I don't think. And the candidates are boring enough that there's not really that much that you need to fucking navigate. Do the Greens first. Why the fuck would I do the Greens first? Hmm. You see the Vosh Ukraine rant? No. I heard about it though. I heard the rumors. I think Anna was talking about it. I learned 2 more Arabic letters. So now I know Aleph. Is it fucking Ba, Ta, and Tha? Let's go. And I know the isolated versus initial versus medial versus fucking final. Okay. Jesus, what a stupid language. I know how to say, is it Anna for I and Ab for father? Got him. Let's go. Vosh Ukraine rant. Is it 52 seconds long? Is this the one? Sounds like Lord of the Rings characters. Arabic does sound very elvish to me. All right. Okay. Is this what I need to watch? Ukraine and orcs and Russians. Okay. Abba. Yeah, but for like a single word, it's ab. But yeah, Abba would be like in any sentence, I think. I think that's how it works. Because for some reason, Arabic letters and words in isolation are very often different from how they're used in sentences. I don't know why, but it's I guess it's just to make it challenging, you know? And what everyone loves making their languages completely fucking inaccessible. Anyway. Hang on. I'm gonna chill for a minute with the vouch coverage. What is northern border ablaze? There was some fucking spiked video that kept on showing up in my recommendations about Hamas. I wonder how on the ball these like right-wing shitters are.
I want to move on to talk a bit about the war in Gaza.
Jesus.
I feel in the past week or so, we've seen probably some of the most obscene reactions of the war so far, but you might disagree. There's been so much craziness. But, you know, we had the release of 4 hostages, a joyous event, surely, in anyone's eyes. And yet many of the left around the world have decided that was effectively a war crime. I mean, Jake, what have you made of that?
Well, I mean, just when you think the international media and the international left couldn't get more depraved, they surprise you again. And I think that this was a case of such blatant moral inversion. I mean, it was just so obvious. It was so audacious, you know, the moral inversion with which the left received the news of the hostage.
I do wonder. So normally what you would do here is you would engage with the 2 main arguments that left-wingers are making about why they're not happy about the hostage release. The first one is that they think Israel engaged in perfidy. They think that Israel unlawfully disguised themselves as aid workers or some kind of protected group. I don't even know if it was aid workers, but they went in some fucking truck that wasn't supposed to be like a military vehicle or whatever, in order to pull a ruse to get closer to the hostages. Now, the argument you would make there is that that's not necessarily perfidy. Perfidy is to do with the intent to kill or harm enemy combatants. But if it's to do with like pulling a ruse of war, and this is in the Geneva Convention for the section on perfidy, a ruse of war is not necessarily prohibited. Like using a ruse of war, especially if it's to rescue hostages, I think is a bit more contentious about whether or not it would be a violation of IHL. So, yeah. Also, you can see the video. The soldiers look like soldiers. They're dressed like soldiers. They're carrying guns as they go into the building. So, yeah.
Was almost as audacious as the raid itself.
Yeah.
Intellectually. But
the other complaint that the left might make is the number of casualties. And then I guess the simple response to that is how do we know how many of these casualties are either DPH or combatants? Because the health ministry wouldn't tell you. Yeah. How do we even know those 200 people who died were even in that area? Or was that just not the death toll for the whole day? I don't know. Yeah. So that's probably the 2 arguments to make. Let's see if they make it.
An entirely different moral direction. Because, you know, Hamas started this war, seized these hostages.
Oh yeah, that's one thing for ruse of war, decoy. Like being a decoy, pulling a ruse of war to act as a decoy or for recon. I'm pretty sure that is exempt from perfidy. But yeah.
Placed them in densely populated civilian areas. Nuseirat, it was next to a market, next to a mall, in narrow alleyways, very, very densely populated, because they wanted that to act as a deterrent to Israel to do this sort of rescue, and then hoped that there would be some kind of human sacrifice involved that would provoke exactly this response from the left. Israeli forces went in extremely cleverly and clinically and responsibly, carried out this stunning rescue, and then came under fire by Hamas in this residential area with RPGs. With automatic fire, regardless of the fact they were surrounded by civilians. Israel responded. After that, Israel got away, got its hostages free. Hamas put out various messages on its Telegram channels, which showed the kind of panic and humiliation it was experiencing. It made a number of claims. One was that 18 soldiers had been killed. Clearly a load of rubbish. The media didn't pick that up.
Yeah.
The other was that it's not the Israelis,
goes.
it was the Americans actually who did this raid because they were too humiliated by it being the Israelis.
Yeah.
This is something that Israel's Arab enemies have done for years, dating back to 1967. The Egyptians said, it must have been the American military beating us, not the Israelis. Clear, transparent lie. Nobody picked that up. But the third was that there were 275 civilians that were killed, something like that. And the media picked that up because that matches the narrative that the media has and enabled the media to turn a heroic rescue into an atrocity. And just the depravity of that, and the sort of willful inversion of reality is quite astonishing. In the end, I mean, according to the Israelis, it's about up to 100 dead, including the terrorists.
Yeah.
And in one of the apartments, there were 30 terrorists who were attacking the Special Forces soldiers. So it's likely that a minority of that 100 were civilians. The civilian casualties are quite small, relatively speaking. How many of them were killed by Hamas's RPGs, we don't know. But it just sort of gives a real sense that the media, the international broadcast media, and the UN and international bodies are militating in favor of Hamas. They are the propaganda wing of Hamas. There's no two ways about it. The UN is institutionally Israelophobic, bringing out report after report accusing Israel of the most outrageous crimes that are out of all touch with reality. And the media are doing the same thing. And the most appalling thing of all of this is that that's why Hamas is sacrificing its own civilians.
Yeah. Because
it knows that as soon as it does that, the media will back it up. And as soon as the media and the UN and so on backs it up, then there'll be a huge amount of intense pressure on Israel to stop the war. And that's their only chance of success. And so it's the media are complicit in the human sacrifice strategy of Hamas. The media has blood on its hands.
It's this absolutely kind of grotesque, sort of feedback loop, isn't it? And
exactly.
I think one of the things that you see more and more, if you watch any reporting on the war, for instance, it's just the way that Hamas are invisibilized almost. Yeah. It's like they don't even exist. You think, who is Israel fighting this war against?
I hate the words these guys are using. Israelophobic, invisibilized. Like, what the fuck?
Just don't like those civilians. They're going to take them out for some reason.
And why were Israel compelled to go into that area in the first place? I have found it really grotesque, as you say, that contrast between a claimed concern about the loss of civilian life, the horrible loss of civilian life in Gaza, and yet, as you say, a willful blindness to who put those civilians in harm's way in the first place. If you want to,
why are you listening to this propagandist without pushback, but won't do it for second thought, or someone else extreme on the other side? What have they said that I should push back on so far? Apart from this stupid fucking terminology, invisibilized is Israelophobic. I could talk about how I think it's a bit reductive to assume that the UN are just fucking Israelophobic or are effective spokespersons for Hamas. I think the reason that they come down on Israel is maybe a bit more complex. Like, you can partly say it's because human rights commissioners or people in high positions are often people who are somehow like appointed from fucking Syria or Lebanon or whatever, and obviously biased. You could also say it's just because in general, the rules of war that we tend to understand in a more conventional sense come from World War II, from conventional warfare, whereas Israel fights wars that most countries in Europe and most people who have assessed international law and war are not used to. People are not used to fighting with non-state actors that hide in tunnels and civilian infrastructure and all this kind of shit, and are so tolerant of their own civilian casualties. So to the rest of the world who are more used to fighting conventional warfare, it's always going to look more unsavory, and they don't really need to it's not like the UK or fucking Germany or whatever has really ever had to be in the same position. You can say ISIS and Mosul and all that, but again, these are not like next door neighbors. Like, the stakes aren't as high for, I don't know, fuck. So I could say that, but again, like, I don't. Do you want me to push back for its own sake, Oni? Like, what am I missing? The reason I push back on second thought more often is because every 3 seconds that fucking retard says something that's wrong. Like, it's easy. Anyway, boring. Okay.
Also, it's like they treat it like it's a race war. I'm really sorry, man. You know, Ukrainians and Russians, you two look the same to me, motherfucker. You've got Ukrainian Nazis who all think the Russians are Jewish. I'm sorry, man. You're both sweaty, balding Slavic people to me, okay? Now go in the trenches, because every once in a while, some Ukrainian nationalist will go on some tirade about how actually...
Wait, why is this... Is he talking faster than... Is he sped up?
Also, it's like they treat it like it's a race war. I'm really sorry, man. You know, Ukrainians and Russians, you two look the same to me, motherfucker. You've got Ukrainian Nazis who all think the Russians are Jewish. I'm sorry, man. You're both sweaty, balding Slavic people to me, okay? Now go in the trenches, because every once in a while, some Ukrainian nationalist will go on some tirade about how actually ethnically the Ukrainian people are descendant from the heavens or whatever, and Russians are all pig people. And it's just a nice reminder that Nazism is a problem everywhere. You think you called US cops orcs, not the Russians? Do you think that's better? Well, yeah, I do think that's better. There are literally like massive swaths of Ukrainians who absolutely would like exacerbate this as a fundamental ethnic conflict. I know you've called cons orcs, but that's deserved. Okay, fine. I'll go off on all of you. Okay? This is one of the reasons why I don't do debates anymore. None of you motherfuckers think You put no effort into engaging with a broader idea, not even a modicum of good faith. But it is a little bit frustrating when I'm making...
Need more context. Yeah, this is clipped, and it sounds like it's sped up. I don't think Vosh typically talks that fast. Hang on. Where's the full clip? Is it on my Reddit? Let's look at my Reddit. Let's see if anyone's active enough in my subreddit to give us the juice. I feel like a lot of leftists unconsciously don't believe in democracy. Okay. United Nations says there's not enough evidence to declare famine. Ynet News. Okay. Do you support? Jesus. Come unprepared on Discord to chat on stream. Oh. Okay. Congratulations, Maruzzi, White MILF. Okay. We're being genocided just like the Palestinians, David Duke. Okay. Where? So I don't think we have it here. Perfidy! What a stupid name. Are conservatives more likely to turn on each other? Vosh and Destin. Okay. Did Vosh become a conservative in President Sunday's mind because he doesn't like him anymore? What? I don't even know. I think this is one of those Sunday jokes that no one understands, but okay. Shokeling, not stimming. It's fucking stimming. Stop coping. You can't just give it a holy name. Bro. Remember this. He's so beautiful and majestic. Loner Box is there as well. Hey, good one. All right, fuck. Where's the... Oh, it's not there. Where's the... Give me the run. Come on, give me the run. Destiny. Maybe it's on r/Destiny? It's Vosh Pit. Okay. You have to stop shilling for Vyvanse. Why? Vyvanse is better than no Vyvanse. For me, at least. Which one is it? Is it old? Oh, 11 minutes. Nice.
Ukraine's kick-ass 3rd Assault Brigade have today captured dozens of... Guys, do not give me updates on the Russia-Ukraine war where they refer to Russians as orcs. Are you f***ing kidding me? I should find the person who linked this and ban them. Are you f***ing joking me? Are you kidding me?
I think Sunday's thumbnail was like, are conservatives more likely to turn on each other than these two guys who are progressive? Oh, that makes sense. Silly. Whatever. Okay.
What does that mean? Use your head. Why not? Use your head. Is orc in this context a slur? Yeah, but my issue with it isn't that it's like racially insensitive, like as the word in its use or whatever.
Thing is, I don't think Ukrainians, you can do this whole spiel about how the way Tolkien describes orcs is basically them being brown or black people, and they come from the east. You can do that whole thing. I don't think Ukrainians call Russians orcs because they're thinking about a racial difference, are they? Pretty sure Russians and Ukrainians are ethnically and racially quite similar, especially in, well, obviously in Eastern Ukraine. There are a lot of ethnic Russians who live in Eastern Ukraine, even if they don't support Russia. I don't know. Are they? It's because they're marauding. They are marauding. The Russian army is marauding. Don't even know about the Haradrim. I know about the fucking Haradrim and the Easterlings. What the fuck's wrong with you? Why do you think I wouldn't know about the Haradrim and the Easterlings? I'm not bringing them up because Ukrainians are not calling Russians fucking Haradrim or Easterlings. And they're not calling the fucking tank Mumakil or whatever. Fuck you.
Think about it. Would you really trust any information coming from somebody who refers to the Russians as orcs? Like, use your head, man. Also, it's like they treat it like it's a race war. I'm really sorry, man. You know Ukrainians and Russians? You two look the same to me, motherfucker.
Uh-oh.
You're not gonna race war your way out of this one. You've got Russian Nazis who all think the Ukrainians are Jewish, and you've got Ukraine.
Anna said it's a reference to Lord of the Rings. Oh! God forbid. To avoid any... Thank God. All the confusion has been wiped from the fucking face of the earth. Really? Is that what's is that when they say orcs, they're referring to the fucking franchise that most famously references orcs? And they attack from the east to destroy the west. There ain't no way. Listen, you know what? I was freaking out. I thought she was calling them Warcraft orcs, the shamanistic, peaceful people who, what did they do again? They drank some fucking water or some shit, and then they became fucked up, like the Burning Legion. Is that what happened? I don't even remember. Fuck. Were they those ones? They drank demon blood. It was the blood of a fucking pit lord. Is that right? And then they turn red and become the Burning Legion. Or slaves of the Burning Legion. Was it the blood of Gul'dan? Was it? Was Gul'dan a fucking pit lord? I don't know.
Ukrainian Nazis who all think the Russians are Jewish. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, she's probably talking about those orcs. At least until now. I thought she was talking about those orcs.
You're both sweaty, balding Slavic people to me, okay? Now go in the trenches. Get out there and settle your differences, which are very small. Sometimes it's good to do these bits once in a while because every once in a while some Ukrainian nationalist will go on some tirade about how actually ethnically the Ukrainian people are descendant from like the heavens or whatever, and Russians are all pig people. And it's just a nice reminder that Nazism is a problem everywhere, you know? Yeah, I see you fucking Banderites. Happy birthday, Rikande then. Guys, don't defend the orc thing. Come on. Come on. It's definitely not a race thing, though. It's a behavior thing about Russian soldiers.
Mm.
Are
He's
we
going to make an N-word analogy. It's not the race, it's the behavior. Like that Chris Rock joke.
Am I like
no.
racing back? Yeah, NAFO dogs the fuck out. It's about their behavior. Then use any one of the billion terms that you can use to refer to people who do war crimes. Rather than orc, a term which is like literally you're a different race. That's literally the term. Like that, it's like a billion things you could say that aren't that, and to pretend that there's no like overlap between like racial or nationalist dogma and the use of the term or come on literally, like you're not even.
Would you consider referring to the Germans as Huns an ethnic slur too? But I don't fucking know. Like it's two conventional militaries fighting each other on a fucking battlefield. The things they call each other is the least of everyone's problems. I don't know. What the fuck? Wojtek Kukar. Oh fuck, what an incredible name. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Dylan Burns, hey, welcome to the chat. I really hope you enjoy the stream. And welcome back to monetized YouTube. It took too long, but you're here. Mashallah.
Human, you're a different type of person. Barbarian is defensible. Barbarians are human. Sure, go for that one if you want to. I've said they're barbarous. Go for it, yeah. But like let's be real here. If you go on Twitter right now and you find the people who are like using the term orc over and over again, it's 100% either like someone who unironically spends a little bit too much time defending the Azov Battalion, or 13-year-old Western non-credible defense guys who jerk themselves off raw to like grainy video footage of Vatniks being obliterated by drone strikes, you know? Yeah, it shows you where their principles are, Smerkdu. I'm not defending it, but why would Vosh, of all people, be opposed to calling people orcs when he says that all the time? When do I call Russians orcs? When do I do that? I say lots of things about lots.
I think if you're Ukrainian, it's whatever, like at least your side's, not losing. But yeah, I think if you're like a Westerner sitting on Reddit fucking soying out over a Russian teenager getting fucking drone striked in his little pit as he's got trench foot, like that's probably a bit cringe. I don't know why you would get satisfaction out of that. Because the thing with war is like war, there's no good things in war. There's just less bad things. That's kind of how I see it. Fuck. And I feel like people who actually have to face war themselves typically talk in that way. I remember like in Israel, when I was asking that lady about what she felt about like what would the right thing to be to do with like with Hezbollah, like to go to war, or what's the best like approach. And she's like, there's no best approach anymore. There's just like there's the things that you kind of have to do at certain points. Like none of it's good. Yeah, I don't know.
Of people. I don't broadly refer to members of an entire nation as orcs. I don't do that.
But if you're a soldier, like dehumanization is something you kind of have to do because it's easier to kill someone who's like attacking you, right? I don't know. I don't really know what soldiers think about when they're doing that shit.
That like the Hitlerite particles, but that's a criticism of their beliefs and ideology. I don't do that. Hogs? Sometimes I've called conservatives hogs, but that's not me saying that they're like, that's like hog, that's like a common cop refrain, like pigs. That's not literally like they're not people. It's a reuse or a recontextualization of centuries-old class dynamicism. When you call the bourgeoisie pigs, you're not literally like dehumanizing them. That's not how the rhetoric is employed. It's just like an animalization, or what is it?
There's maybe a bit of riffing going on there. It's like when people used to call the Tories vermin and shit. Let's see. Calimac, thanks for the €5.99. If a non-human insult like pig can describe gluttony, then why can't orc simply imply brutishness without any other baggage? You know what? I don't know. I guess the charitable interpretation I can make of what Vosh is saying is that dehumanizing language can seem very equal on its face, but it's actually radically unequal. So people who call cops pigs, the way that a lot of these terms are used, it's not just the literal meaning of the word. It's also just the kind of social context and the social like tenor in which it's used. So when people call cops pigs, I think most of the time I don't think people mean that the cops are like not worthy of humanity. Maybe some people do, but I think when they say pigs, they mean like just the classic or whatever agents of the state who come to fucking beat us up or whatever, like that kind of left-wing nonsense. But for example, if you call like immigrants cockroaches, well, pig and cockroach is like they're dehumanizing, right? They're less than human. But cockroach is used in terms of like that's a term that's been used for fucking genocide, right? Like calling the people that you want to wipe out cockroaches. So that's maybe the charitable interpretation, is that even though you can have a bunch of words that are all technically dehumanizing, some of them are a lot more problematic than others, but I don't fucking, it's all kind of dehumanizing though, right? Like when people called the bourgeoisie pigs and people drew fucking cartoons of being an immigrant is immutable, but being a cop isn't. How is being an immigrant immutable? What the fuck? I'm sorry, Mr. Right-Wing Lonerbox coming in here. Being an immigrant is not immutable, right? You can just stay in your own country. That's what they would say. Like, it's not necessarily, like, an immigration is an act. But yeah, fuck. In any case, because yeah, that's like the thing, right? Because they're not cockroaches. They're not cockroaches when they stay at home, according to right-wingers, right? They don't give a fuck. That was poorly worded. By me or you? You. Anyway, goodbye, right-wing loner box. Okay, we're going back to my own opinions. Fuck. What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. When people used to use animalistic caricatures in the French Revolution, like likening Marie Antoinette to a pig and all the shit, well, yeah, I mean, that kind of did serve people in believing that they were less than human because they guillotined them, like they murdered them and shit. So, it's like dehumanizing language can go in. When you call someone a piece of shit, for example, I don't think that's dehumanizing. A piece of shit is it's not even a fucking animal. It's just a piece of shit. Like, you can set it on fire. No one cares. Like, but when you call someone a piece of shit, like, you're generally not implying that they deserve to die, or that them and their group or their like can have like deprived of their human rights. So yeah, there's like the way that these terms are practiced matters as well as just like their literal meaning. You know what I mean?
No, it's the opposite of an anthropomorphization. It's obviously not the same.
I could have just said it that way. I should have said it that way, Vaush. He knows. He has to pull out the Wittgenstein card right now before it's too late. But that's why. Why historically is calling a group of people cockroaches more problematic than calling people pieces of shit? Because you'd think a piece of shit deserves less rights than a cockroach. It's a close contest. But calling someone a cockroach is a lot more problematic. Again, it's because of the way these words are used. It's because of how they're practiced socially, right? And historically, and sociologically, and yeah. Willis, thanks for the $9.99. Forewarning for the Reform Manifesto. Many fiscal think tanks, IFS for example, have said that it's excruciatingly inaccurate. Really? Okay.
I don't know about
it's
that
obviously not the same. All right.
Chief. I mean, I don't need to argue with you. I have the like incredible power of just banning people. If you really think that like Azov jerking off Twitter accounts calling every Russian an orc is the same as like saying cops are pigs or the bourgeois.
The Reform Manifesto. Many fiscal think tanks, IFS for example, have said that it's excruciatingly inaccurate.
You mean those liberal coastal elite think tanks who all live in, what's the coast? Cornwall. Okay.
So you're pigs. You can just like leave the chat. I don't care. I'm not going to argue with an unreasonable position from someone acting disingenuously. I'm not going to pretend that your position is like worth consideration.
Damn. Let's go.
Attacking a class position or a job with like a historical allegory to a pig, like someone who is greedy, like who eats up all the money, that's comparable to referring to a whole nation of people as orcs? Come on. Holy shit. You guys read way the too much NAFO shit, man. I'm really sorry. What is NAFO? Keep that energy. Never learn. I'm sorry, I thought the tweet was about soldiers, not Russians in general.
The fuck is this account? Goy Slop Enjoyer. Interesting. Oh, this will be like some far left account. Okay.
The idea that like the Serbs were good faith interlocutors here is not true. And I can tell that because they're Serbs. They're basically Russians. They're like orcs. Of course they're not going to be straightforward and forthcoming with.
You said they're like orcs, okay? That's not the same as being an orc.
When it comes to diplomatic negotiations. The Russians certainly never have been.
Do you think some of the language you're using is a bit distasteful too? Like even in the debate you had with that Serbian kid or whoever he was. I mean, some of the things you were saying were, you know, I wouldn't expect a leftist to be saying those kind of statements. Like when you said something like you're unruly children who need to be broken up, like that is a colonialist trope, man.
I will happily colonize Syria. I will lay down my life. Wait, not Syria. Mm-hmm. Wait, actually Syria too. Serbia. Yeah. No, I'll do both. Yeah. The idea.
Did I just get a phone call from the base department? All right.
It's ambiguously employed. And I also don't think it leads you to very good opinions. Like a lot of the Russian soldiers are just conscripts.
The Vonch mandate.
Yeah, a lot of them act monstrously, but it's a product of material conditions, social circumstances, you know? I don't think you're getting anything out of that, like that mentality. Dehumanizing rhetoric is like, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I'm above it all or whatever, you know, I've thrown out some zesty ones to be sure, but I really take issue with these like normalized trend in a conflict of like, oh yeah, those are the orcs or whatever, you know? It's not just like referring to them euphemistically in like a specific circumstances too, right? It's not like, oh, at Bucha, like they were like orcs slaughtering people or whatever. It's not like in a specific circumstance. It's just like in general for years now, just they're orcs. And yeah, the vibes are off, man. Bro, don't pretend they don't intend there to be like this is some new iteration of Clean Wehrmacht. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, XKCKQ. Who's doing the Clean Wehrmacht thing? So when you said it was in specific circumstances, everything that I do is a specific circumstance. That's how circumstances work. What are you trying to gotcha? You're trying to gotcha me for? Why don't you, instead of trying to like, you're saying like this you, and it's like a picture of me being beautiful, like handsome Squidward. Instead, why don't you try to focus on like what I'm saying? You know? You're never going to understand anything in life if all you're doing is trying to find gotchas in people's positions by like ineptly comparing one thing to another thing and not understanding the broader point between them. What are you even referring to? Do you remember a specific instance of me saying that Russians are orcs? Like, or what are you comparing it to? Some vague idea? A half memory? An illusion? A ghost? A ghoul? Calm it down. Isn't that what debating is? To a lot of people, yes. If a Palestinian called the IDF orcs, we would defend that? No. No, I really wouldn't. I've said a lot of shit about the IDF, and you'll notice that I tend to avoid that rhetoric. Again, I'm not going to pretend I'm perfect. I say a lot of shit. I'm talking about a broader tendency. I don't know why you're trying to do the whataboutism to defend it, man. Like, what's the obsession with calling Russians orcs? Call them a million other bad things. Like, seriously, it's not that hard. Well, if they're settlers, also 47. The IDF is also made up of conscripts. It's not about whether or not they're conscripts. It's that the only reason you would use orc is if you're trying to dehumanize. And I just think that tends to lead to bad analysis. You can insult a group of people, Hitlerite, lunatic.
What is the slur we should use for IDF? I don't know. Do Palestinians have a word for IDF soldiers? I've never heard of this. Do they have an Arabic word that means like wanker or something? I don't know. Pig? What do they say? Yahud. They don't just say fucking Yahud. Is that what they say? Do they just say Yahud? IOF. I'm pretty sure, wait. I think IOF is a white person thing. Did Palestinians invent calling them the IOF? I should have asked, what slurs do you use for IDF soldiers? Lamau, no. No what? No that they do call them the IOF, or that's just a white person thing? I'm going to put my money on the white that it's a white person thing. I don't think Palestinian fucking stone throwers out there are calling people fucking take that Israeli occupation force. Hey. White person thing. There we go.
Lunatics, war crime loving, bloodthirsty, all terms that I've used. They're all mean. Warranted, I think, given the behavior of the IDF and the Russian military. I just don't like the orc thing. I only remember you calling the Russian army orcs. I genuinely...
Al Jazeera calls it... Well, I know that... I know in Arab media they call it the Zionist entity. I know that's a thing. Even then, not always. Like, I've heard fucking Nasrallah say Israel like a million times. Ooh. Anyway. But is that Al Jazeera English? Does Al Jazeera Arabic call it the IOF?
Don't remember doing that. If I did, okay. I don't know what that has to do with what I'm saying right now. I've streamed thousands of hours. I'm
Calling
sure
it the Jewish military is a no-go. Do you think they call them the Jew-vengers? We call the IDF Irgun or Haganah as a slur, sometimes the Horde. Did I hear a Palestinian person say Irgun referring to... Because Irgun, no, it was a Hebrew person, because like a Hebrew speaker. Because Irgun also just means organization. And Haganah means defense. So sometimes people will be talking, but they're not actually saying Haganah. They're just saying, like the military, they're just saying defense. Yeah.
I've said lots of stuff. Can you understand the point I'm making now? If I said that before, then I disagree with it now. Is that what you want? Sure. Like, do you think that invalidates a point? Little do you know, 3 years ago, in a moment of frustration, you said this. Okay, that was bad then. What do you want from me?
Okay.
Jesus, that Vosh doesn't exist anymore. I am alive now. I'm saying this now. Who is Vosh? I'm condemning this person. Yeah, I think dehumanizing rhetoric just leads to really bad analysis for the most part. I think you called US cops orcs, not the Russians. Do you think that's better? Well, for one, that's a profession, not like, I don't know, the other army. For two, I don't remember saying that. I tend to say hogs or pigs. For three, yeah, I do think that's better. There's not like a broader racial/national movement concerned with discriminating against that group, whereas there are literally like massive swaths of Ukrainians who absolutely would like exacerbate this as a fundamental ethnic conflict rather than a national one. None of this applies to the police. You can just stop being a cop, you know? Like the problem.
Soldier is a profession, but do you? I don't know actually. Do Ukrainian nationalists, when they call people orcs, are they not referring to just Russians as a whole? Because I feel like I see people fighting on social media talking about Russians just like in general, or is it just the soldiers? Do they care? I don't know. I haven't been in touch. I haven't been to Ukraine, so I don't know anything.
Here is people exacerbating this into a greater ethnic conflict, which ideally you should prevent this, if at all possible. And even then, I don't remember saying that, man. Why are you... Is it like you think I've had a delectable little treat and you're trying to like... You're like, well, why did your mom let you have 2 hot dogs? I know you've called cons orcs, but that's deserved. Okay, fine. I'll go off on all of you, okay? This is one of the reasons why I don't do debates anymore. None of you motherfuckers think. You put no effort into engaging with a broader idea, not even a modicum of good faith. You're not even debating against me, motherfucker. You're in my chat. This isn't a competition. A lot of you don't put the effort in. You don't think, what point is being made? Are there contradictions? Oftentimes there are. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. Sometimes I say one thing, but I mean another. Sometimes I misspeak entirely. Sometimes I just do things that I will later disagree with. I don't pretend to be perfect. I would never ask any of you to think of me that way, but it is a little bit frustrating when I'm making what I think is a pretty clear and simple point against dehumanization, and people in chat are acting like, actually in a July 2022 VOD, you claimed, I don't care. I don't. And your obsession with that as like a metric for opposing what I'm saying now is intellectually dishonest. It's silly. Don't you actually me. It betrays an unwillingness to engage with the point. You're my roommate. You never wash your damn dishes. They stink up the sink. I point at it and I say, hey, you know, man, you should wash your dishes. You know, we share this household. We should both put some effort in. And you say, 7 months ago, there was a 3-day period during which you left a bowl that you had eaten chili out of in the sink. You didn't even rinse it out. It smelled bad. What about that? And to this, my response is, find a new roommate. I am evicting you. Get out of my house.
Based.
Get out of my house. I hate you. Leave.
You too.
Yeah, I know that guy. Yeah, I know that guy too because he's in my f***ing chat. And there are multiple of him. Just call them Hitlerites like Zelensky just did, Lamau. Yeah, there you go.
I thought that was a great segment. I don't know what the fuck you guys are complaining about. That was banger. That was really good content. What the fuck? Anyway. I really want to get through this British election stuff quickly because I feel like what's going to happen next. Oh God, I really hate this. I feel like what's happening next is that there's going to be all kinds of discourse. I already know what the line's going to be. Israel invades Lebanon for no reason. I think that's probably going to be the next. And Hezbollah are anti-colonial force. Oh God. We'll see. You've got it here though. If you have clip technology, you can take that prediction for a fucking month in advance or something. Do you think Israel will invade Lebanon? I don't even like saying it, but here's the thing. In the Middle East, you make threats, you be like, don't fuck with me, or bad things will happen. And then they do some things to you, and you're like, listen, hey, Just letting you know, if you keep fucking with me, bad things are going to happen. And then you rinse and repeat that for 8 months. And the amount of strikes against Israel just doesn't go down. It goes up. The amount of fires in the north goes up. The people who are evacuated see no chance of going back anytime soon. You can only make so many threats before they stop being credible threats. And Israel have made a lot of threats. So they've kind of put themselves in a position where they need to make those threats credible. Otherwise, it just won't stop. Like the escalation just won't stop, which is pretty scary. Most wars are in the summer. Wow, thanks. Easier than fighting in the rain. Yeah. That famously rainy region in the fucking upper Galilee. What? Does it rain in the upper? I don't think it does that much. What? Also, comments are enabled on my stream. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Does it? Whatever. I'm not looking forward to it. But it seems to be that most people there think it's not if, it's when. And I not good. Did you go through the election stuff? No. I think today what I said I would do is I would go over Conservative Manifesto and learn about what's actually going on in the NHS. What are its problems? What can be done to fix them? Surprised it took so long. Yeah, right? And the thing is, whatever Israel did to Gaza, they're going to do a lot worse in Lebanon. Like, Hezbollah is not the same enemy as Hamas. Like, not even close. They have more space. They can import more fucking arsenal. They have much more difficult terrain to fight in. They have better weapons, better equipment. Their soldiers are more experienced because of Syria. Their leader has more riz, which actually seems to matter quite a lot in this region. Anyway, not today. We can get to the dread posting in a minute. Don't all those sound like good reasons for Israel not to go in? But then what? How? I can show you. Okay, listen. I can show you the chart, and I'm going to become a lot more unapologetic about doing this, because if it's okay to cite Hamas Health Ministry, Gaza Health Ministry, Hamas-controlled numbers throughout the entire war, I think it's okay to bring up things like this. Let's have a look. Where is the chart? Swords of Iron Northern Front. Is it this? Fuck me, man. Fucking bullshit. All right. Large icons. Hezbollah Arsenal. Is this it? Why does it keep opening every fucking image I've ever... Okay. So here's the problem. Again, this is from... It's not from IDF. It's from an Israeli... is like an educational and research center up in the north. People who like watch the border, and they take tolls of strikes, and they monitor activity, and they show you like before and after if Hezbollah puts any new installations near the border. But yeah, because if people are okay to uncritically fucking repeat the Gaza Health Ministry numbers, I'm okay to fucking talk about this, right? So this is according to them, the number of strikes from Hezbollah up into Israel. Now, it looks steady, but it's actually not. The reason it's not really that steady is because the weapons here that really matter, that the IDF is probably the least equipped to deal with, is the UAVs, the unmanned aerial vehicles, the suicide drones. They're accurate. They are not the easiest things to respond to, and they have been increasing that since at least March. So February, March, April, May. This is like a really big problem. The anti-tank strikes have steadily increased since October. Like, this is kind of where there's a bit of a problem. And is there data from before October? Not much was happening before October. Before October, they were all I was shown was increases in activity near the border, then putting in new installations, things like that, but not like strikes, I don't think. If there were, they would have been like pot shots. Let me show you. This is pre-October 7th, Hezbollah on the border. Just like, yeah, the intel people were just taking fucking logs of increased activity, people being ever more present at the border before October 7th, new installations, things like this being kind of recent, this kind of thing, like a new structure being built very close to the fence. See, there's the old one, they've added the new one next to it. Little video that someone took.
הנה, איזה יופי, יש לי וידאו שהם הולכים, ירון. כן.
So there was increased activity before, really even before 2020, even before 2020, because I think what was happening was since 2006, Hezbollah have been rebuilding their military capabilities along the border. And they paused during COVID to take care of the civilian population, to get them vaccinated and everything. And then it's after COVID 2020 onwards that they start increasing again. So yeah, they've been doing this for a while. They've been clearing shrubbery near the border. Oh yeah, like there's a lot of blank spots near the border as well. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So British election stuff. I think I'll do Conservative Manifesto and then see if there's a brief version. It's 80 pages. It's shorter than the Labour one. But do I want to read the whole thing? Or do I just want to get the 12 key policies analyzed from the BBC article like I did with the last one? Let's do it this way. Okay. The fuck? Where's the thing? Why won't it give me the mover and the shaker? Huh? Interesting. Why can't I shrink this? Here we go. Please, no Kelly stuff. Well, because I'm doing British politics. I'm not doing Kelly Jean drama. Don't care. How do you feel about Chud voting Reform UK? Chud is not voting Reform UK, you fucking idiot. What? Is he? I don't even. Why? That's a troll, right? If he's saying that, that's a troll. Was it 7 hours of Kelly Jean yesterday? Wild. All right, conservatives. You don't think Chud strikes you as the voting type? He probably would. All right, Conservative Manifesto. 12 key policies analyzed. Also, there's too many fucking white names in chat. Look at this. But the fucking work that I do for you guys, there's no fucking people getting subs since I've been away. Fuck me. I want more pink names in chat. Where are they? Where's the community dedication, motherfucker? Are you voting SNP or Labour? Well, I'm going to look at all the fucking manifestos and see the trajectories and rhetoric and trustworthiness of each party and then decide from there. That's what I'm going to do. So far, the Labour manifesto is pretty underwhelming, so which is not surprising. Like, you know when you expect little and you get less? That kind of underwhelming? Yeah. Anyway. Manifesto. The Conservatives have launched their 2024 manifesto. The document sets out what the party's plans would be should it win the election on the 4th of July. Here are some of the most eye-catching pledges. As far as I understand, most of these pledges are like just not that interesting. Like they've all been mentioned before. Anyway. Return of help to buy. Sunak says he wants to build an ownership society, but admitted that owning a home has become more difficult in a BBC interview ahead of the manifesto launch. He set an ambitious goal of building 1.6 million homes in England in 5 years. However, previous targets have already been missed. Jesus Christ. Return of help to... This is... So Labour said they were going to do 1.5 million. Did the Conservatives really just fucking leapfrog them by 0.1 million? They're never going to... Neither of them would ever achieve this, even with a majority, by the way. It's so stupid. It would be interesting to see what Conservatives promised for house building in the past compared to what they actually did. Previous targets have been missed. Let me see. Conservative manifesto. What was it? When was the last manifesto? 2019? What were their housing targets in the past? Here. $300,000. So they were still they get themselves the target of 300,000 a year. Okay. Previous targets of 300,000 per year. Per year. Missed in 2020, 2021. Still quite a bit, though. Not that. Is this social housing? This is all private and social. Most of these will be private, though, by far. Like the vast majority of them will be private. Blair set that target in 2002-3 and it's never been hit. Okay, that's interesting. 11% fall from previous year. Not bad considering pandemic. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's just not as much as they pledged. It's just funny that Labour said 1.5 million and Conservatives said 1.6. It's just really funny. Let me see. Still unlikely to meet. Okay. No, so this is only from this period, 21. Okay. UK new houses built per year. Let's see. Oh, we have 22, 23. Do we have 21, 22? Oh, previous year. Okay. So I should have taken this, by the way. Whoops. Okay. $211,670. This is from Housing Today. Is Rishi still dishy? I don't know what the fuck that means. What? We're not doing memes until later, okay? We need well-informed memes. Okay. So these are the previous under the Conservative government since their pledges in 2019. So is this the default that every party goes with? Full monk debate. Douglas Murray versus Mehdi Hassan, anti-Zionism, anti-Semitism. That could be an interesting debate. Shit. All right, what's this? Housing completions in the UK 49 to 2022. That might be a good source. All right, let's see. Aha. All right, what we got here? Oh. So when's the last time they ever did 300,000? I think it was 1969, right? Yeah, and you see where council housing just fucking plummets after Thatcher. Council housing is the grey one, right? Local authorities. So actually, the annual rate of private housing is not that bad. It's stayed the same for most of the last 70 or 80 years. But social housing and housing associations are picking up. But yeah, local authorities is where the big fucking deficit is. But Labour are not trying to do 300,000 a year through local authorities. They're claiming to do it by getting rid of by relaxing regulations and making them and simplifying them. So who knows? When was the last time they had 300,000? Was it 69? Oh yeah, there's been a few times. 77. So just pre-Thatcher. Okay. Interesting that pre-Thatcher is when they go below 300,000. Whoa. Willis, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. All right. And here, actually, let's see. Tony Blair, 300,000 housing units per year. Did he really pledge this as well? What's this? A Blair housing guru warns Labour on 1.5 million households aim. Interesting. Is this because Blair pledged it as well, I'd imagine? Hang on. Whoop. Don't mind me. Herculean task, very difficult to pull off, according to Tony Blair's housing guru. Not easy to turn on the taps again. The Conservatives struggled. Okay. Now, where's Blair's pledge, though? Was it in 97 when Tony Blair did this? When he said he would do this? Because it's a good critique for both of them. Does the 300,000 number come here as well? Where are you getting that Tony Blair did this as well? That he pledged this as well? Hammond by the mid 2020s. So that, yeah, that's going back 2015 for the Lib Dems. Apparently here the target was 200,000 a year. Is this right? Government commitments. Oh, here. All right. So the last time government commitments have actually ever been met was 04. So the Blair government would pledge. Oh, it was 06. Okay. Oh, this is actually quite interesting. Okay, housing. Let's put this here. History of government pledges. 1997. Pledges of 200,000 homes per year. Never met. Oh, no, wait. Year only met from 2004 to 2006. Is this 240,000 here? Yeah. Upped by Mr. Brown. Haha, okay. Just to... Never met. It's like, what, that 225 or 220,000 or 215,000, say 215,000 roughly. It looks a bit lower than halfway. 215,000 before recession. Then fall to under 150,000 by 2010. 2011. Okay. Tories restore promise. Oh, but what the fuck is happening here? Turn to 200,000 pledge 2010. Number goes from less than 150,000 to just over 160,000. This is quite a valuable graph. And then is it by 2019 when it goes back up to 300K? It must be because that's the next election. Unless Theresa May, did Theresa May have a pledge? 2017. That was a really good little fact check. Okay. Theresa May housing pledge 2017. Number of units. Whatever, I don't think she had a number. So the only time a pledge has ever been met since 97 was in 2004, 2006. And it was just over 200,000 houses. Okay. So. Oh, and actually Kate Barker was the one who actually achieved this, right? Because in 2004, she led the review, which means she achieved the last time a housing pledge was ever met. Okay. That's why she's called the guru. Okay. The fucking guru. Where's the housing one? Oh, yeah, here. Hey, Barker. Blair's housing guru from 2004. Warns this is a Herculean task. All right. I think a conclusion there is that you're not going to meet this without an increase in social housing. You just got a 30-second Scottish Labour unskippable. Get fucked. That's what you deserve, moron. All right. Okay. We're not doing reform yet. Chill. All right, conservatives, let's go back. What are your thoughts on the manifesto so far? What? The ones that I haven't even read yet? I've gone through main points of Labour and then I'm just starting with conservative. Okay, come back to me in like a couple of days. Give me a couple of days. Oh, super chat. I'm so sorry. Where are they? Uber, thanks for the $5. Chud would vote reform if he knew it would give him a grape to review. True. Willis, thanks for the tier 1 sub. Jesse Irwin, thanks for the 10 Canadian. Question for you. Is Hassan and his community referring to your Israeli fans at the meetup as Hitler Youth anti-Semitic? Or am I being poisoned by my hatred of Hassan? It's been bothering me. Yeah, it's pretty anti-Semitic. What the fuck? Yeah. Like the only time anyone ever refers to Israeli leftists of all people, like the left-wing Israelis, as comparable to Hitler or the Nazis, it's nothing to do with any kind of like accurate fucking analogy, right? It's nothing to do with any actual observable resemblance between these two groups. It's because they are wanting to get under the skin of Jews. That's it. It's the only reason you would do it. Or you're retarded and you're just doing it in consequence, even if you don't mean it. Yeah. That's my stance. Okay. Right. That was us just elaborating on this sentence. Part of the plan to get people into the property ladder is a resurrection of the Help to Buy scheme, which would provide first-time buyers with an equity loan of up to 20% towards the cost of one of these new homes. Okay. Help to Buy equity loan of up to 20% towards cost of new home for first-time buyer. However, in the past, these schemes have been criticizing for pushing up housing prices and benefiting developers rather than buyers. Criticized for pushing up housing prices and benefiting developers, not buyers. Well, because if the government does this, then the developers are just going to be like, well, we know that the new buyers are going to get a 20% loan, so why not just push the price? Is that why? Is that simple enough? You should read this in a more posh accent. For $100, okay, I will go into a full fucking Scots accent, all right? I'll probably do it badly because I haven't done it in a while. Okay, then there's making permanent the stamp duty threshold of $425,000 in England and Northern Ireland for first-time buyers. It means that about 8 in 10 first-time buyers do not need to pay stamp duty, okay? For renters, there is a commitment to eventually ban no-fault evictions, a policy first proposed by the party in 2019, but which has been delayed. And there's a 2-year tax break to allow landlords to sell to existing tenants, but landlord groups say it doesn't address shortages in homes available to let. All right. Fuck. That's pretty shit. 2019, but still delayed. Okay. Tax help for the self-employed. Oh my God, that's me. Am I voting Conservative? Let's go! One manifesto surprise is the abolition of national insurance for the self-employed. Well, Conservative and Unionist Party. I've ever told you how electable you guys are looking, right? Anyway. Currently, they pay 6% on profits between 12,570 and 50,270 and 2% above 50,270. There are more than 4 million self-employed people, so it's understandable why the Conservatives want to offer something. Okay. Abolition of NI contributions for the self-employed. There are more than also I don't actually understand why the fuck you would, because the only way you do this is by cutting social services. I don't know, yeah. Honestly, I'd be fine with it increasing. Like when Corbyn said that he was only going to tax the top 5% or whatever, like, and I fall in the top 5%, I'd have been fine with him like pushing up a bit of taxes. And if it means like bringing down NHS wait lists, if it means people like in minimum wage jobs just being a bit less fucking miserable. Like, yeah, all these things. Yeah. It's worth it. If it means more houses being built, rents being more affordable. Yeah, like you get things for it. Oh. Okay. You're in the top 5%. Wait, am I? Let me Google that. I don't know. Maybe I am. I think it might actually just change every month at the moment. Top 5% of British earners. Do you need to be? Am I in the top 5%? Oh no, I'm not. I'm not even fucking close. Jesus Christ. Am I in the top 10? Is that what I remember? Is in the 10%? I'm in the top 10%. Maybe? Yeah. Not 5. Okay. The cut is promised by the end of the next parliament and will cost 2.6 billion a year. Okay. Loaded box. Really? 4 million self-employed people. And I'm one of them. Let's go. All right. 6% on profits between 12.70 and 50 to 70. 2% above. Fuck. I'm so bad at typing numbers. Need to fix that. Cost of 2.6 billion per year. This comes on top of the 5 billion a year cost of reducing national insurance for employees by a further 2p by 2017. In addition to the 4p already cut in 2024. Damn, they keep on cutting national insurance. What the fuck? Additional no commas, comma box, just spaces. Why the fuck would I? All right. 5 billion for further 2p reduction in NI for employees. Already. Okay. There's also a promise to increase the personal tax fee allowance for pensioners. This would mean future rises in the state pension by the higher of wage rises, inflation, or 2.5%. The triple lock will not be hit by income tax. People below pension age will pay more tax on their incomes over the next parliament, as both the Conservatives and Labour have said they will maintain the freeze imposed when Rishi Sunak was Chancellor on income tax thresholds. Tax-free allowance for pensioners. Over. He says these tax cuts will be paid for by $6 billion a year crackdown on tax avoidance and cutting the welfare bill by $12 billion a year by the end of the next parliament. The problem is that welfare money is money that gets spent. So it's not just typical austerity logic nonsense. Oh, shit. At least I think that's a problem, but let's see. Okay. Paid for. Here, crackdown on tax avoidance. And here, cut on welfare. Oof. Why are they thought to be uncertain? Why does this think tank say so? Is it here? It's a total of 17 billion in tax cuts. Okay. Hmm. Total of 17 billion tax cuts. Okay. So cracking down on tax avoidance and evasion, saving billions from cutting civil service numbers, reducing spending on management consultants, and Quango efficiencies. Those are definite giveaways paid for by uncertain, unspecific, and apparently victimless savings. Forgive a degree of skepticism. Uh-oh. Hands up, though. I was equally skeptical about promises of delivering 12 billion of welfare savings in the 2015 manifesto. Via some serious cuts, including 4 years of freezes, those savings were broadly delivered, albeit 2 years later than that manifesto had claimed. Okay, so billion welfare savings from 2015 manifesto were delivered, albeit 2 years late. So it is right to identify this as a challenge to address. Oh wait, hi, sorry. Spending on health-related benefits has ballooned and doubling in the number of new claims for disability benefits each month compared with 2019. So it is right to identify this as a challenge to address. The trouble is the policies have been spelt out are not up to challenge of saving 12 billion a year. Some have already been announced and included in the official fiscal forecasts. Others are unlikely to deliver sizable savings on the timescale that the Conservatives claim. The hope seems to be that since spending on disability benefits is rising rapidly, one can simply reform disability benefits and hold spending down. But having the number of people that successfully apply for disability benefits from its current level would not be easy and would need definite, clear policies that require difficult decisions. These are not stated. No, okay, so no response to doubling of the benefits compared with 29. Why is it doubling? Why are so many more people claiming disability benefits? Is it because of mental health and COVID? Huh. Interesting. Hmm. Let's see. Make the saving in time. Cost of living. What, people are claiming disability benefits because of the cost of living? Oh, like people who didn't need them before just claimed it because it's getting too expensive. So they might have needed it before, but they can claim it now. Yeah. Actually, I wonder if that's even true of me because of my fucking autism and ADHD. Like, I wonder if I could claim, if I was like on lower income, I'd be able to claim that as well. Because I know people who are very similar to me, like mentally and shit, and they have claimed disability benefits, but I never have. So I don't know. Oh, you're talking about what are the big issues for the election? Officially regarded. Yeah, that's what I would be, yeah? I mean, I could be. Wouldn't be a difficult fucking badge to claim. Have you seen me? You should watch Gideon Levy and Mehdi Hassan debate Douglas Murray on anti-Semitism. I know I should. Fuck me. Fuck. The biggest tax cut promised is another 2 percentage points off the main rate of national insurance contributions for employees. Okay, we got that, yep. They would also lose £150 from continued freezes to income tax. Okay, main rate. All right, this is a problem as well. no indication on where unprotected public services will be cut. Indeed, the billions of savings from cutting civil service numbers and the rest noted in the manifesto have been earmarked to fund the additional defense spending and would come on top of those cuts. Oh, that's a problem. Cuts. Savings from... That's a problem, isn't it? So that doesn't even account for the tax cuts already earmarked for the defense, for additional defense spending. The manifesto remains silent on the wider problems facing core public services, and if you think those civil servants, management consultants, and quangos were delivering anything, these plans imply an even tougher time than set out back in March. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. Did you do your own research? I'm doing it right now. Every bit of research I do, you can see it on stream. Okay, don't worry. Tougher sentences. Let's go. Tough on crime. Tougher sentences. The Conservatives are pledging to toughen sentences for offences including knife crime, grooming, and assaults against retail workers. But prisons have an overcrowding crisis, with officials expecting jails in England and Wales to be at full capacity over the next few weeks. This raises questions as to where these criminals would go. Prisoners are already being released early to free up space. Ooh. Prisons expected to be at full capacity in weeks. Prisoners already ready, being released early to make space. Fuck. In 2021, the white paper by the Tories promised to deliver 20,000 new prison places by the mid-2020s, described as the biggest prison building program in over a century. Okay. 2021 Tory white paper promised 20,000 new prison spaces by the mid-2020s. The biggest in over a century. Only 6,000 spaces created so far. The new manifesto pledge promises 4 new prisons to complete this program by 2030. Okay. Do these notes get published? These ones, I'll publish them today, so you can see the progress. Yeah. Let's just put this here, because this is probably just all coming from the BBC article. Oh, fuck. Obsidian needs a live publication system. No. No, I'd much rather have control over what gets published and when. Thank you very much. 1 second, let me do it right now. Publish changes. Cass, Goldstone, March of Return, and new would be the UK election. What have I called this? A British election. There we go. Okay. British election notes are published, so you can go and have a look at them in your own time afterwards. Okay. The party wants to show how they are tough on crime, a stance that usually does well with its traditional supporters. It's pledged to increase the number of community police officers by 8,000. However, some in policing tell us it's one thing wanting to hire more officers, but it's another thing retaining them. Okay. Pledge to increase number of community police officers by 1,000. Yeah. In April, the Metropolitan Police Federation suggested nearly a third of officers intended to resign because of low pay and morale. Recent scandals from WhatsApp groups revealing racist views to the murder of Sarah Everard in London by a serving police officer have all impacted recruitment, retention, and morale. Jesus Christ. Nearly 1/3 of officers intended to resign because of low pay and morale. Didn't know that. Such as revealing racism, group, and have impacted recruitment and retention. Regular flights to Rwanda. Jesus Christ. Regular flights to Rwanda. How was the trip? It was good. I had fun and learned many things. Okay. The manifesto underlines the plan to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda, saying there will be a regular rhythm of flights every month, starting this July. Bro, what the... Why? They can't even fucking... How long have they been trying to do this? Are they going to have to come out of the European Human Rights Act or something? Or whatever the fuck it's called. Do you share your notes for those to read who do not have all the time to do such research? I have no idea. I just share them because people ask for them. My username is really fucking long for no fucking reason. I don't know. People just ask. I'm sure they have a million reasons. Maybe they want to critique me. Maybe they want to fucking tear me to shreds. Maybe that's why I share it. Why is it called the monk debate? Monk. Eh. If you do share them. Oh, no, I do share them. Yeah. They're, let me give you the link. Just maybe put this in the description of my streams, eh? Obsidian publish /lonerbox. Wait, why is it fucking blank? No, it's not. Okay, I thought it was blank. Okay, here we go. There you go. Regular flights to Rwanda. Okay, it's possible that the Rwanda scheme could make it through the courts and take off, but it is very difficult to see how a regular rhythm will be achieved so soon. Ministers have already delayed the date for the first theoretical flight no earlier than 24th of July. Judges in London are grappling with around a dozen potentially major challenges, all of which could go to the Supreme Court. And on top of that, the UK's deal with Rwanda only seems to cover, for now, sending 300 migrants. Okay, current deal only seems to cover 300 migrants. Wow. That's less than half the number who have arrived across the channel this month alone. Official figures show that sending 300 people will mean the UK would pay Rwanda £541 million over 5 years, or 1.8 million per transferred individual. Would cost the UK 1.8 million per transferred individual. Why? Why the ever-living fuck? We don't know how much more the government has set aside if it wants monthly flights to become a reality. If it's monthly, bro, like that. Wait, can we calculate this? If it's over 5 years, because I guess they have to pay Rwanda to actually care for them when they're there. Can someone just pay me like 1.8 million to put one of them in my house? I'll give them a spare room for 1.8 million. increased defense spending. A big theme of the Conservative campaign is the promise of security. At the heart of that is a commitment to spend 2.5% of GDP on defense spending. The current NATO target is 2%. Okay, Conservative commitment to spend 2.5% GDP on defense. NATO target is fuck. The manifesto talks variously about meeting the new target by or in 2030. Privately, Conservative sources made clear that they plan to raise defense spending cumulatively year on year. Their aim is to contrast themselves with Labour, which is promising to meet the 2.5% target, but only when economic circumstances allow. Okay, let's put that in Labour. Defense, 2.5%. It's budget, but only when economic circumstances allow. Did you hear about Brianna Joy Gray retweeting Jake Shields? I don't care. She's fucked, man. She's so fucked. Their aim is to contrast themselves with Labour, which is promising to me. Okay. The Tories are trying to suggest that backing Labour would be a risk. Mr. Sunak claimed only the Tories could keep Britain safe, in contrast to what he called an uncertain Keir Starmer. Oh, that's so dumb, man. The fuck. All right. That's very dumb. An end to. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. They want to get rid of low quality degrees. Based. All right. The Conservatives promise to close university courses in England with high dropout rates, or which leave graduates no better off, builds on existing powers. The Office for Students, which regulates universities, already acts if courses fall below quality thresholds. It estimates this applies to no more than 3% of current students. Okay. Building on current powers, allow closure of courses with high dropout rates, or which leave graduates no better off. Estimated to affect no more than 3% of students. If potential graduate earnings are taken into account, more courses might fall into this category. The party wants to fund 100,000 extra apprenticeships each year by the end of the next parliament instead. This can only happen if employers want to create them. Okay. Target of 100,000 extra tips per year. Can only happen in schools. There's a firm focus on parents' concerns, including requiring schools to ban the use of mobile phones during the school day. Okay. Ban of, okay. We'll just say education. Ban of mobile phones during the school. Banning mobile phones during the school day. Is that okay? I feel like that's probably okay. I feel like if I had a fucking iPhone out in the middle of class, I would just be even more retarded than I am now. Like, I wouldn't stand a chance. And I was ADHD as fuck. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's my one right-wing opinion so far of this election. It's the best thing for you, I think. Yeah. It's just so similar. And it'll all be Joe Biden's fault. No laptops in class. Why do you think a laptop is the same as a fucking phone? You can work on a laptop. Who the fuck is doing schoolwork on their fucking iPhone? Whiz. You're too permissive. You'll let them walk all over you. You're the fucking teacher who tries to be the fucking cool kid, who tries to be one of the kids and ends up getting fucking locked in the janitor's cupboard. And they let you out only to fucking squirt ketchup on you and then put you back in. Okay. The Conservatives are also pointing to their record in improving maths and reading compared with other countries. Schools, meanwhile, are preoccupied with their stagnating budgets to maintain standards. Per pupil funding in England is just above 2010 levels, so the promise of keeping up with inflation in the next parliament will be welcomed. What else could you do? Could you just like make sure that there's no internet allowed in? But you'd need internet if you wanted to do a lot of the. I don't know. Fucking. Did you benefit from the student loan system in Scotland? I took out one student loan for 1 year. Didn't really need it. SAS was good though. Free money. Net zero without new green charges. The Conservatives continue to attempt to walk a thin line on climate. They say they'll meet their goal of reaching net zero by 2050, but without what Rishi Sunak calls unaffordable eco-zealotry. Okay. The challenge is the Climate Change Committee, the UK's independent watchdog on climate, has already warned that the UK is not on track to meet its ambitious promise to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 68% compared to 1990 levels by 2030. They're adamant that there will be no new green levies or charges and promise any big new decisions on climate will be put to a vote in Parliament. Local communities will be able to vote on new onshore wind projects and low traffic neighbourhoods. But at the same time, they say they will accelerate the rollout of renewables, trebling offshore wind, for example, and will approve new small modular nuclear power stations. Okay. So what does this mean? Like net zero without doing any... Okay. Net zero without new green charges. Net zero by 2050 without unaffordable. So how do they want to do this? Just by going with current trends. Climate Change Committee warned that the UK is not on track to meet its target. Cut emissions by 68% by 2030 compared to 1990. Okay. Cuts to welfare and civil service numbers. Uh-oh. The Conservatives say they would pay for the $17 billion of tax cuts by 2030, including cutting national insurance for the self-employed by making savings elsewhere. Like all manifestos, the numbers are based on the party's assumptions and so open to question. Crucially, the Tories want to save $12 billion by reforming welfare payments through reforms. But previous attempts indicate curbing the bill for disability-related benefits in particular is tricky. The number not working due to long-term sickness is at a high of 2.8 million. Okay. Why is it so high? Is this COVID or is this mental health or no national insurance for self-employed? What do you pay a year? I don't even know how much I pay a year in national insurance, to be honest. It's not much, but it's... Oh, wait. It's 6%. I don't know. I don't. I should know. Listen, I'll check and I'll tell you next stream. Okay. All I know is it's enough that I need you guys to push the bars and get more fucking memberships so we can have more pink names in the chat. Okay, that's all I know. All I know is that performance is lacking as I slave away for you fucks. All right, wait, I know. Okay. Equally uncertain is the money which can be saved by clamping down on those who underpay taxes. Okay. By primarily squeezing spending plans to fund tax pledges, the Tories hope to promote a tax-cutting agenda. But look at all taxes and plans already in train. The freezing of tax thresholds and the tax burden, revenue relative to the economy's income, is still set to rise to its highest since 1948. Meanwhile, funding spending pledges, such as bolstering defense, involves plans to cut the civil service headcount to save $3.9 billion. Whitehall numbers swelled amid a pandemic and as negotiators worked on post-Brexit trade deals. But those cuts may be too ambitious, as might be plans to save $550 million by cutting 5,500 NHS managers. Okay. Service headcount cut to bolster defense, $3.9 billion. Due to pandemic and post-Brexit trade negotiations. Plan to save Hmm. 5,500 NHS managers. So why are they saying it's ambitious? If they're saying the cuts to the Zores are ambitious, even though we know that there are people from in Whitehall who might not need to be there anymore, why are they saying it's ambitious? I don't know. I wish they would just give a reason. Three strikes warning for antisocial tenants. Oh yes. Is this the new ASBOs? The Conservatives say they would introduce a 3 strikes and you're out policy to make it easier for social housing landlords to evict tenants guilty of antisocial behaviour. Oh, it's only for social housing? Okay. The manifesto also promises new local connection and UK connection tests for social housing in England to ensure it is allocated fairly. I wonder, if you have a homeowner in a flat who's being antisocial, what can you do about that? Can you evict them? Like if there's a fucking homeowner, like if I own this flat and I just blast my music at fucking all hours of the night, like what would happen to me? Are there laws for that or? I don't know. Okay. Promises an end to rough sleeping. You'd become deaf. I could wear earplugs. I'm just, there's a hypothetical. Fuck. Oh. This is what happens when tenants don't tip their landlords. Oh, God. In Sweden, you can get forced to sell the property. That sounds based. When I was a kid, I had the most disgusting piece of shit fucking neighbor ever, but he was just unmovable. Because all he would do is he would blast his music, he'd call the cops, he would know the cops were called somehow, and he would turn his music down and be like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I won't do it again," and nothing happened. Like, fuck. He did that for years. Okay. Seems to only apply to social housing landlords? Question mark. Local connection. Promised end to rough sleeping. Also made in 2019. Between 2019 and 23, official figures show the number of people sleeping rough in England fell by 9%. Figures fell sharply during the pandemic during the Everyone In scheme, but increased by 27% last year. Oh. Numbers in England fell by 9%. Sharp fall. So it goes way down, then comes back up. But I guess this 27% would be because it went way down in 2021, in 2020-21. And then by 22, it would have gone bumped back up, but not up to pre-2019 levels. Is that what I mean? Okay. Sharp fall and that's not really relevant. Fuck. So it came back up after the pandemic, but not enough to go to pre-2019 levels. Okay. New dentists tied to the NHS. Okay. This is an England one, right? Health and care make up a relatively small part of the manifesto. Most Tory promises restate existing policies and targets established over the past 5 years, from increasing the number of doctors and nurses by 120,000 to introducing a cap on care costs next year. Relatively small part, okay. New cap on care costs introduced next. Because they have to pay for dentists in England. You do in Scotland as well, but only after you're 26. Here. There was, however, room for a new initiative on dentistry where they promised to tie new dentists into working for the NHS for a number of years after qualifying or face having to pay back their training costs. There's also a mention of the 40 new hospitals, a 2019 manifesto pledge, but that is mired in controversy, with the National Audit Office warning a number of the schemes are behind schedule. Okay. 40 new, this is funny, the Boris thing. Because I think the actual number was only 6 that could be discerned. Behind schedule. "40 hospitals Conservative 2019. The government has broken their pledge. Uh-oh. Oh, that's from Lib Dems. I want the actual fucking... So the NHS has 1,500 hospitals. That's good to know. Just put that here. Around 1,500 hospitals. How many Arabic words did you learn today? I haven't done any yet. I'll learn them later. Scope of the report. So what are they saying here? Conclusion. The program has innovative plans to standardize hospital construction, and based on experience elsewhere, there is reason to believe that these could deliver efficiencies. However, on October 2020, public commitment to construct a list of specific schemes and the target of building 40 new hospitals by 2030 were announced in the absence of key decisions about NHP's funding and approach to construction. Until 2023, DHSC was unable to secure arrangement from the Major Projects Review Group about NHP's approach to building future hospitals and the scale of capital funding it would need for the program's crucial last 6 years, when most new hospitals are to be delivered. It is unsurprising that when the government finally took decisions, it required major changes to NHP's scope. Some of the changes will solve pressing problems for DHSC and NHS England, such as the inclusion of all 7 entirely RAAC hospitals within NHP. Some schemes publicly promised in 2020 now face substantial delays and will not be completed by 2030, inevitably with implications for patients and clinicians. Oh. By March 2023, DHSC has spent around $1.1 billion on NHP and the schemes it oversees. Delivery to date has been slower than expected, both on individual schemes and on NHP's central activities, in particular developing Hospital 2.0. Government has not achieved good value for money with NHP so far. The remainder of 2023 will be spent working up a third program, Business Care. It can improve the chances of NHP delivering better value for money through to 2030, including in the years when its spending will be the highest. By the definition the government used in 2020, it will not now deliver 40 new hospitals by 2030. Understandably, it continues to want to build as many as possible. However, there could be substantial risks to value for money if this were to lead to hospitals that were too small to meet the needs of the communities they serve, or if costs were to be inflated because so many hospitals were being built at once. Okay. So this is from the National Audit Office. Okay. Concludes that 2030 target will not be met. So they're already fucked. Okay. I woke up early enough to catch the stream. Good for you. I appreciate you. Okay. But the big missing of the jigsaw was funding. Missing piece of the jigsaw was funding. The manifesto only goes as far as to promise above inflation rises each year, but this is nothing new. There has only been a handful of occasions in the history of the NHS that the budget has not risen in real terms. Yeah, this is a thing as well. Leaving the EU. Nice one. Promise of above inflation rates isn't new. NHS almost always rises in real terms. All right. Yeah, this is the thing when Tories say like the NHS is cool with us, we're increasing the budget above inflation. It's like that's what always happens with the NHS. Don't let anyone fuck with you over that bullshit. All right. Real terms per capita, that I do not know. Sorry. We do have private care also. Yeah, we do. I use private care. Ah. A cap on social care costs. The Conservatives say they will go ahead with their proposal for an £86,000 cap on social care costs for people who are older or disabled in England if they win the election. It means no one would pay more than that for personal care over their lifetime. The current plan is for it to be introduced in October 2025, but it is not clear how it will be funded. 1 penny increase to national insurance, which it was estimated to raise in £12 billion was introduced to pay for it, then scrapped soon after. Okay. Cap on social care costs. £86,000 cap in England. For 2025, but not clear how it will be funded. But then scrapped. Pilot schemes to test out how this care cap would work were also stopped. The early lesson from the councils involved was that there wasn't enough money. When I asked social care leaders if they could get a cap up and running in less than 18 months, they said it was possible that it would need to be fully funded. The manifesto also says councils will be given longer term finances and more will be done to attract staff. So they're basically just introducing a policy but not saying how they're going to fund it. Okay, nice. New Ipsos poll of 20,000 people has Corbyn losing his seat. Oh shit. Really? Mr. Corbyn. Oh, damn. This is the conservative one, yeah. Might as well see what what their last breath sounds like on their way out. A legal limit to migration. Okay. The Conservatives are promising a legal cap on migration by getting Parliament to fix an annual number of work and family visas. That level would fall every year. The manifesto says this will protect public services, but the evidence that migration damages public services, where it often fills labour gaps, is highly contested. Yeah. The government's Migration Advisory Committee said in 2018 that the cap on high-skilled migrants should be scrapped, as these workers make a more positive contribution to the public finances. Look into Faiza Shaheen. Yes, Jamie, don't worry. And by the end of this research arc, we will look at all the things you want me to look at, okay? Because you are the most important person in this chat. Alongside all the other ones. All right, let's see. Legal limit to migration. Fixed annual number of work and family visas, which would fall every year. Claim that it would protect public services. Contested. Where are these guys? Where did that tab open? Oh, here. 2018 called for skilled migrant cap to be scrapped. So there's already a cap on high skilled migrants in the UK. $140 pages. All right, let's see. Scrapped. High skill. So there's a cap on high skilled migrants, but not on low skill. What the fuck? Positive impact, positive impact. Where do they call it for it to be scrapped? It seems like almost around half of migrants are considered high skilled. Is that right? Yeah. Over half. Is this right? Wait, what do all these ones mean? EEA. What graph am I looking at here? What does it say? Proportion of population by skill level. Population of migrants in the workforce with and without. So yeah, there's migrants in the workforce. Okay. More than a native is obviously just native. So what the fuck is the EEA? Oh, the EU. What the fuck is the European Economic Area? Okay. What's NMS mean? Migrants with neuroleptic malignant syndrome. Malignant syndrome. True. Fuck those guys. Of course they're lower skilled. They've got brain damage. Okay. Because they took antipsychotics. New member states? Oh, so they're from new member states. Aha. Of UK migrants are high skilled. 41% for new member states. About 40. Okay. This only covers individuals who have left full-time education. Okay, because they're employees. Oh, yeah, employees who have left full-time education. Okay. So workforce. This is from page 77. Thank you. The impact of high-skilled migration is more beneficial than lower-skilled. Okay. So where do they say it should be scrapped? The cap. Is it in here? Oh, they recommend the cap is abolished. On which is in the beginning. Tier 2 cap. Okay. on tier 2 migrants abolished. Page 127. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Supporters of the idea say blocking business from bringing in foreign labour is a good political choice. It would force employers to invest in British workers. We have been here before in a limited way. In 2011, then Conservative PM David Cameron's government imposed a skilled workers cap, but it was repeatedly criticised, not least because of its impact on the NHS. And ex-Tory PM Boris Johnson scrapped it after Brexit. So, any new cap would need to learn the lessons of that scheme. Okay. Put that here, maybe. Stop the boats. Caps. 2011 cap. Skilled workers imposed by David Cameron. Widely criticized. And then scrapped by Boris after Brexit. I didn't know that Boris did that. So are there any caps on low-skilled migrants in the UK? Greater access for higher skilled whilst restricting access for lower skilled. Okay, so they're kind of doing the what you'd expect a standard conservative to say. Surely there's a... So current policy allows 20,000. Jesus. Allows... It's not that many. So goes into the UK. On tier 2 visas annually. The current salary threshold is 30,000. Whoops. With regard to low-skilled workers, the committee says it is not convinced there needs to be a work route for low-skilled workers from the EU to fill jobs in industries such as catering or hospitality. Okay. This committee is called what again? Migration Advisory Committee. Recommends that there doesn't need all jobs in areas such as catering or hospitality, but possible exception for seasonal agriculture and of workers from EU countries. So they're saying that we don't need to encourage immigration from low-skilled workers apart from maybe for seasonal agriculture. Don't need to be exceptions for the public sector either. So wait, does anyone know this? Does anyone know if there was ever a cap on non-skilled migrants? Or is it just on skilled ones? Does anyone know that? Someone find that out for me? The committee, which is made up of independent experts, says it does not see any compelling reasons to offer a different set of rules for workers from the EEA than from other countries, unless such a position has been arrived at as part of the Brexit negotiations. Okay. That's an important thing as well, actually. Hmm. Wouldn't high skilled people just say they're low skilled? No, because you'd have to, if you're getting a fucking work visa, they have to know what job you're getting. What? Just come into the country, pick strawberries. Just, yeah, come into the country, pick strawberries for a day, and then just go into your 30K a year job. Just say you got promoted. What? Go away. I'll watch that debate tomorrow, okay? Chill. I made something for you. Did you? Yeah, I put this up on this is on Twitter. I tweeted this. It's so stupid. It's so. That's not even Zoomer. That's like Gen A now, isn't it? Lawrence of Arabia. Is that where it's from? Is it from Lawrence of Arabia? No way. You look like a robot on the camel. Yeah, because it's fucking AI. All right. No compelling reasons to offer different rules for workers from the EEA and those from other countries. That's pretty interesting. And that's from page 4. Because I think people might say like immigration from the EU is fine or the EEA, but not from fucking Africa or some bullshit. But apparently there's not really any reason to have different rules. Okay. Okay. Nice one. No evidence that increased European migration has damaged life in the UK. Oh. Pay more in tax than they receive. Wait, where is that? Pay more in. Aha. This is all valuable. I should put all this here, actually. Jury committee report. These are all good talking points. If you love black people. Page 71. Okay. There instead. Despite, I love this. Survey from 2014. 43% felt immigrants take out more. Only 31% felt they pay more in tax. That's quite funny. All right. Even if migrants pay more in taxes than they consume in public services and so provide the resources needed to fund the services they consume, there needs to be some allocation mechanism to ensure that the money flows to the areas where there's increased demand for public services. This chapter also discusses allocation mechanism. Okay. Okay. But if they're saying that, but they also don't think there needs to be different rules for workers outside of the EEA, does it mean it's the same for the EEA outside as well? Why would they not say that for them? Interesting. No effect on crime rates. Did they mention crime rates here? Effect on crime. Huh. No evidence that migration has any effect on crime rates in England and Wales. Boof! It's all here. Oh, I've already got the link. Okay. It's just page 102. God, I'm so validated as a progressive by reading the study. Beautiful. Annex G. Where is Annex G? What does it say? Where's Annex G? Eh? There's no contents page. Are you fucking kidding me? Where are the annexes? Table 1? Where the fuck is Annex G? Figure? Table? Oh my god. Is it just near the page 102? Here? This is hate crime. Might be uploaded separately. Oh, you're right. Oh. Let's G. Come on, Annex G. Make me rich. It must be big. What the fuck? What? I don't even know what annex we're on now. This must be C. Okay, that's C. Okay, because it's E. G's right. Okay. Oh my god, this is some serious data. I'm gonna pretend I understand it. Okay. Annex G. That's how they decide that immigration doesn't affect crime. Crime over pop brackets it equals nice. Fucking based. This is made up, right? This is just people who love immigration and hate white people. And they just want to confuse white people by making them think that there are smart reasons that migration is good, right? Is that? Copy and paste the equation into your document. The basic estimating equation. Basic. What's the complicated one look like? I don't know. The fuck. Well, it's on page 43. Okay, that's all. I'll just defer other people to it and tell them that they're fucking stupid for not understanding. Do I really need to explain basic estimating equations to you? That's what I'll say in the debate, okay? That's what I'll say against, I don't even know, Sargon. This is pretty basic. Oh, well done. Yeah, I'm really proud of you, Rayon Scooter. I'm really happy for you that you understand this fucking equation and I don't. Yeah. Like, what the fuck is this like a German S set? Is that what that is? That's what I remember it being used as. I didn't even have math in it. Okay, well, that's because, Rayon, that's because you're much cleverer than me, okay? And we should actually be swapping roles, okay? Everyone knows this. You don't even need to say it. Just multiply the triangle by the fucking double P wizard rune. And pop the migrants. And then multiply it by it. And then from there on, it's really, bread and butter. You just have to add the double P, and then square it by a triangle ln. Then you multiply it by the pop, and that's it. And then you just have to add the double P cubed triangle x it. Then you just have to add a big T and a small t. And that equals energy times it. That's it. That's it. Bread and butter stuff, guys. Bread and butter. Ministers commissioned this report because they needed clear facts on the role of European workers in the country and the implications of ending their freedom of movement. But it's too soon to know how many of the committee's recommendations will be adopted because of the Brexit elephant in the room. So, while the experts want no special immigration deal for future EU workers, the report does not concern those who are already living in the UK. It doesn't consider whether a special deal will be good or bad for Britain. Such a deal is a possibility. The Prime Minister's Chequers Plan proposes a mobility framework, a system allowing British and EU citizens to study and work in each other's countries, potentially linked to a trade deal. So if the ministers offer special access for future EU workers in return for something they want for the UK, this report won't help us know whether it is worth it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Drop it in co-pirate. What the fuck does that mean? All right. That was a pretty fruitful little session, I think. We haven't really got onto the NHS part yet, but we learned a lot about immigration. So we learned that... Hang on. What is this about? It recommends a policy allowing greater access for high-skilled migration whilst restricting access for lower-skilled. What is this? It doesn't say what they want for lower-skilled workers, though. Why? An end. Stephen Clark, senior analyst at the Resolution Foundation, said if the recommendations were adopted, it would signal the biggest change to the UK labour market in a generation and would represent a huge shift for sectors such as hotels and food manufacturing. He said, if enacted, these proposals would effectively end low-skilled migration while prioritising mid- and high-skill migration in areas where we have labour shortages. Why would it end low-skilled migration? Welcome a recommendation saying the UK had long depended on recruiting nursing professionals from around the world. Okay. Blind to the impact of EU immigration to... This is from Migration Watch. Oh, yeah, those guys. Doesn't this only affect legal immigration? I'm pretty sure when people say mass immigration, they mean all of it, right? I think people like Reform don't just say, oh, the legal stuff is fine. I don't think they do. The legal stuff is fine, but the illegal stuff is the problem. I don't think that's what they say, is it? Pretty sure they don't say that. I thought they go further. Anyway, I do need to end stream in like half an hour, so... Yeesh. The government says it will listen to the report and bring in an immigration system that works for the whole of the UK, adding, EU citizens play an important and positive role in our economy and society. We want that to continue after we leave. Wait, what did Boris scrap? Boris. Oh, the cap on skilled workers. Okay. So we don't have it anymore, but Rishi Sunak wants to bring it back. Why would they cap skilled workers, but... Oh, fucking man. Diane Abbott said the policy should be based on economic needs, legal obligations, treating people fairly, da-da-da-da. Net migration down from 2017 since 2012. Actually, let's maybe check what net migration is. UK net migration over time. So I think it went way up after COVID, didn't it? Is this... Experimental. Oh, this is what, like unconfirmed figures or some shit. Oh, this is about right, yeah. So it started dropping after 2016, Brexit, then back up after COVID time. Is there anything else that's a bit more fucking clean? UK government statistics? Oh, here we go. So net migration. But they did change their methods at one point in counting. So it's over 600,000 at one point, which is quite high. Why was it so high? Is that because of COVID? But isn't... Oh, it drops. It drops. Then it recovers from COVID. Okay. 685,000. And that was in 2023. Okay. Stats. $685,000 in 2023. Generally between 200,000 and 300,000 before COVID. Generally between 200,000 to 300. That just looks really wrong if I write it that way, but oh well. Between 200,000 and 300,000 from 2010 onwards. Drop during COVID. Can you store images in Obsidian? I don't think you can. I think it's weird when you try to. I don't know. because I think it has to stay saved to a particular folder. I mean, I can try and you can see if it updates. Like, I can do this. And see if that does anything for you. Does this bullet point even need to be there for that one? I think it does. Yeah, not really. And then I can update the publishing. You can let me know if that graph goes there. Then I'll do more of that. I'll do more screenshotting. And that'll be under immigration stats. It'll put the image in the root folder. I mean, I thought it would, but before it didn't seem like it was. Huh. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow I will actually learn how to read that equation from Annex G, just so I can not feel like a fucking moron. I don't have time to do it now, but if anyone wants to, tell you what, if anyone makes a Reddit post explaining Annex G to me from that fucking document, I will think you're very cool, okay? Or you can just tell me tomorrow on stream. Monk debate. Monk. Okay. Where can I find your Obsidian link? I'll give it to you again. If someone posts this in the Reddit as well, you can probably get it bumped to the top. Actually, I'll put it in the description to this fucking stream right now. Okay, hang on. No bullshit, okay? I'm going to show you guys. You're just attaching a file. Yeah, but I feel like the files were going somewhere different before and it was like weird. Or it's because it goes into here. I don't like it when it goes here, like pasted image. I don't want this to be in my list of shit. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Not important though. It's my own. Doesn't affect you guys. All right, let me go YouTube stream description default and I'll change the fucking. You can set the default image location, but I think it's already set to somewhere that's fine. It's just, I don't like it showing up there. Anyway, whatever. I'll figure it out later. Obsidian. Obsidian notes. Okay. They're in the description for this stream, okay? Anyway. I was having a short stream today. It's a really nice day outside, actually. But I need to go and do some stuff in about 20 minutes, so I'm going to go prepare for that. I might come back in the evening. Who knows? To pretend you're talking about Israel to get views, obviously. Yeah. I should have more VODs up soon. I've got some arrangements going on, so hopefully. Hopefully. All right. Take care, guys. I will see you. Any more segments? Yeah, there should be more coming, yeah. Like, talking about Israel will be the next one. It's currently in the works. So we'll see. Anyway. All good, guys. Take care. See you tomorrow, okay? Longer stream tomorrow, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye.